Edge boots with DHCP enabled by default. This means that as soon as you connect Edge to a network, it will look for a DHCP server in order to obtain an IP address. If a DHCP server is present, Edge will obtain an IP address from it. This process may take several minutes. With your PC attached to the same network and thus getting its IP address from the same DHCP server, all will be ready to go. If your network does not have a DHCP server, Edge will not be able to obtain an IP address. While waiting, Edge will default to a private IP address in the range of 169.254.x.x, where .x.x is the last four alphanumeric characters of Edge's MAC address. MAC address hex value is converted to decimal for IP address. Edge's MAC address can be found on a sticker on the bottom of the hardware. When there is no DHCP server present to assign IP addresses to either Edge or your PC, you may need to configure your PC with a static IP in the range of 169.254.x.x, where .x.x is the last six numbers of your choice, and a subnet mask of 255.255.0.0 in order to communicate with Edge in a direct connect mode. However, if your PC is using the default network settings, it should have automatically self-assigned a similar private IP address in the range of 169.254.x.x, and if this is the case, you should be able to connect to Edge directly. Even if the PC's default settings have been changed, Edge will try to establish communications by setting up appropriate routing table entries to reach devices with 169.254.x.x addresses. Edge is set up and controlled by a host computer via Ethernet. This requires the host computer to be connected to Edge directly via a standard Cat5 Ethernet cable or indirectly via an Ethernet switch or LAN. Discovery of and connection to Edge hardware is done with the Locate Hardware dialog found under the Hardware menu, or by clicking the Locate Hardware icon in the toolbar or on a particular Edge unit itself. First, drag an Edge unit into your site file from the toolkit and open the Locate Hardware dialog. The Locate Hardware dialog will scan the network and list available units. Select the Edge unit you wish to assign an IP address to and click the Properties button. If you wish to assign Edge a static IP address, select Use the following IP address and enter the appropriate IP address, subnet mask, and gateway. Click OK when finished. Now, back in the Locate Hardware dialog, ensure the Edge device is selected and click Select Hardware Unit to use this Edge hardware in your site file. When you drop a new Edge unit into your site file, it appears with a default I/O card configuration. This default will rarely match your physical hardware, so Composer provides an easy way to sync the site file unit with the physical hardware's configuration. After you have successfully located the Edge unit, right-click on its unit icon and choose Sync I/O cards to hardware. Right-click on the unit icon and choose Unit Properties. In this dialog, under Unit Options, are two important checkboxes: Archive site file when going online, and Enable Event Server in this unit. For safety and a means of retrieving programming if you ever lose your site file, at least one unit should be designated to store the archived site file. Multiple units can be designated for even more robust backups. However, the more units the site file is archived to, the longer it will take to go online. Likewise, at least one unit should be designated as the event server if you wish to schedule presets to be recalled by time and date. The unit acting as the event server will be the one the event scheduler talks to in order to create and edit scheduled events. There are two methods of going online or connecting to the hardware: push and pull. Push will push changes to the hardware. i.e. transfers from your computer to the hardware. Pull will pull changes from the hardware, i.e. transfers from the hardware to your computer. When designing your site file or making adjustments, you will most often be pushing changes to the hardware when going online. If you are returning to an installation at a later date and do not have the original site file, or are unsure if it has been modified since you last connected to the hardware, you need to pull from the unit when going online. From the Hardware menu, open the System Manager. Click on the Hardware tab. A list of units available on the network will appear. Select the unit you wish to pull from and click the Go Online or Pull From Unit button. A wizard appears which guides you through the pull process. The first step is to choose the location in which you wish to store the site file pulled from the hardware. In the second step, you must choose whether you wish to synchronize or abandon changes. Synchronize changes will transfer parameter data currently running on the hardware. This option will save changes that have been made since the site file was archived. Day-to-day operational changes by user interfaces. Abandon changes will transfer the site file as it was archived, discarding any operational changes. After you've defined a connection to hardware, done some DSP design work, and stored your presets, you may want to allow the end user or facilities manager to schedule those presets. To do this, the user will not only need a copy of the Event Scheduler app on their computer, but also a connection file which launches the Event Scheduler app and tells it which unit to connect to. To generate this file, choose Export to XML Event Scheduler Launch File from the File menu. Events are created and edited with the Event Scheduler. The Event Scheduler app may be accessed under the Tools menu in Composer or run on a separate computer using an exported launch file detailed previously. The Event Scheduler mimics a calendar interface like Outlook, with month, day, and selected range views. Recurring or single time-date events may be added, edited, or deleted. Recurring events may be scheduled for certain days of the week or for only specifically listed days. Important days, such as holidays, may be excluded from recurring events as well. Events may be categorized, with each category having its own user-supplied label and color to help distinguish and organize events. Hardware security may be configured by choosing Security under the Hardware menu. Unique passwords for administrator and user access may be enabled. An administrator has full access to the hardware, while a user can only control the hardware or make parameter adjustments and cannot change the DSP design, hardware configuration, or settings.